Welcome to the Nerdentials podcast, starring your hosts, Joe Tweeden, Matthew Johnson, Jeff Berry, and Paul Roman.
And people that are willing to watch our YouTube channel will see it as well.
Good.
Okay.
I gotta do an opening. I'm gonna do the opening, and then we'll just jump into gaming bits, and then, we'll just do it that way. On that note, welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering TV, film, movies, video games, and all that jazz. I'm your host, Joe, and with me, I'm just gonna bounce around the table / digital world, if you will. I've got a couple guests with me today. First off, in the upper corner here, I've got Nick coming back, our newest member of the Nerdentials crew. Nick?
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Ready to get the show on the road?
Been ready for a while.
Yeah, we have been. Technical difficulties aside. Across from me is a friend from out of town, but also a heavy geek, nerd, and gamer, Mr. Lynn. How's it going, sir?
Pretty good.
You looked a little questionable about that label. No?
No question.
And
embrace it.
Last but certainly not least, with unlimited power and his technical expertise, coming far off from the grand nethers of Utah and Geekologist Radio, a Brandon Foutz. Sir, how's it going?
I'm a little confused because you said the great technical resource that is myself, but we're starting like an hour late because of my quote-unquote technical expert.
Well, way to be honest, sir. I was just going to kind of shade you in mysticism as our guest.
Oh, don't worry. I shall return the favor.
We just now know your kryptonite. It's microphone apps.
No, it's Macintosh.
Oh, that's everyone's kryptonite.
Whoa, wait. You're using a Mac?
No, not a chance in hell. I do have one right over there, but I'm not using it.
Oh, that was
I think he was saying that your Mac was causing the issues.
You should see his memes on our Discord. They were wonderful.
Hey, Apple.
Yeah, there's that one. Then there's a cannon launching through a Mac. That one's fun, too. Well, guys, we're going to go a little out of order from normal. We're going to jump into... Let's do gaming bits first. Alright, guys, this is our gaming bits for the week. We have a couple huge topics to cover that a lot of us are excited about. Destiny 2, its reveal stream and that sort of thing. So we're very excited about that. But first, a rebranding has occurred with a very newer, well-known streaming service, previously known as Beam, is launched recently as Mixer. And from what I know, they rebranded it due to just legality issues so they could expand across other countries, is what I'm familiar with. And Brandon, you know a little bit about this rebrand, right?
I've got no clue about what you're talking about.
Cool. All right.
No, anyways. Sorry. I don't have Caucasian State here to keep me in line, so this might get a little crazy. So Mixer is formerly Beam. A lot of people were saying that there is a social media type app called Beam that's spelled B-E-M-E, and the company got into a huge lawsuit with the name just being Beam, so that's one of the main reasons why Microsoft had to change it from Beam to Mixer.
Wow, right. It makes sense. And at first, before I knew that, I was like, "Oh, you guys made a wrong move. Oh, that's horrible. Like, why did you change it?" Because, I mean, you're beaming your broadcast. I liked the idea of the name, but then once I heard the reasons and the issues behind it, I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." And it's cool that by taking this new name, Mixer, they're able to expand it to all territories, and their whole throughput their whole brand is. But with this branding, we've got some new features they revealed too, which is kind of cool. One that I noticed that I'm pretty excited about, that this is going to kind of mean a lot for both our group and Geekologist Radio and many other groups out there. The ability to stream four unique people, each having their own stream and streaming onto one channel.
Wow. The only problem with this is you have to be a pro member. So you have to pay that $5 a month every month in order to be able to do that, as far as I am aware.
Well, now by pro member, do you mean is it free to those that are pro members?
Not partnered.
Gold member.
Oh
yeah, it's just
okay.
It's like the PlayStation Plus. Like you pay that extra $5 a month
to do that,
just for their extra features. Yada yada yada. That is how you are able to activate that. And if I'm not mistaken, the mixer in real life is the same way as well. That is the other big feature that they added with this name change and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Really? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's like picture-in-picture. It's like 4 streams on one channel. So, like, you could watch a multiplayer match of, Destiny or Halo or what have you. And that's going into our next topic, moving up. That's actually going to play really well into the new 4v4 circumstances with what we might be seeing with Destiny, as well as future Halo and Call of Duty iterations, especially with MLG, Major League Gaming, and all that. Anything else aside from that one feature and the rebranding, Brandon, that you could think of?
Not off the top of my head. I think they are going to be adding more stuff. I know they did on the day that they released all this information and announced Mixer, they did an interactive fireworks show that if you were signed in, you were able to help control and launch fireworks by donating your little sparks or whatever that you have.
Yeah, the points you earn for watching,
like
watch time, right?
Right. The other thing they announced is they will be broadcasting the Xbox E3 presentation in 4K ultra high definition.
Yeah, wow. That's pretty big. Especially,
and there will be bonuses if you're actually signed in instead of just tuning in and not having it signed in. So, create an account, you'll get bonuses for it, supposedly.
Right. Oh, and something I just remembered that came to mind as far as an additional feature, their IRL mobile phone app for this. I don't know much about it other than I'm really intrigued by, kind of what this could mean for the mainstream, the big gamers that stream. IRL in real life, it's basically an app. It's kind of like, it's like Skype on your phone, basically, but it's through Mixer. So, literally, you can hit... Yeah, Brandon, you got something?
It's more like a Facebook Live. That would probably be a more comparable experience for it, because instead of just having a one-on-one... Yeah, instead of having a one-on-one conversation with another individual through Skype, you could broadcast it for anybody to tune in and watch.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, fair point. Yeah, it's really cool. It's basically live streaming from your phone. It's kind of, I guess it's like a deeper integration of, maybe you're not gaming right now, but you want to check in with your followers or whatever. It just kind of adds another layer to the whole streaming world. So yeah, there's some interesting developments with that. And that could lead to some really cool streams through our next topic, Destiny 2. We got a huge... we're a little late to the game, us Nerdentials, but we still want to cover it because everyone here today is fans of the franchise, and we're all really kind of interested to see how this plays out. In the reveal stream that happened over a week, 2 weeks ago now almost, I'm going to kind of go over somewhat in order of what they revealed in the stream and kind of get your guys' here at the table and across the way of our thoughts and how we feel about these changes, because there's a lot of really cool new features. Brandon kind of already covered this with his group and Geekologist Radio. Nick knows a little bit of this, and Lynn plays original Destiny from beginning to now still, but he missed a lot of the reveal, so I'm going to get some fresh perspective from him as far as how he feels about some of these changes. Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
It's a puzzle RPG, right?
How much time do you have in Destiny?
Him or me?
Yeah,
me.
Nobody cares about you, Jeff. What are you talking about?
Shoot. Well, Joe.
Oh man.
Joe pulled it up on the companion app, and
Wasted on Destiny. Time wasted on Destiny.
yeah, it's like broken down. My Titan, I've got like 11 days. My Warlock is like, what was it, 3 or 4?
Yeah, and then another character was
and then my
10 or more was.
Yeah, my Hunter was up there, but I had ended up deleting my original Hunter and then recreating one.
So currently, actively, he's got over 500 hours of like physically active gameplay. And here's a side note, Brandon, in case you're about to boast about your hours. One thing I noticed is that the hours tracked on the Destiny app are based on active gameplay versus the Xbox Live dashboard tracks total time, including orbit.
So is it on Xbox?
So yeah. No, he's on PlayStation.
Yeah, mine's on PlayStation.
His stuff's on PlayStation.
Okay, well, what's your gamer tag? Joe can edit it out.
It's Oni111. ONI 111.
Let's see your wasted on Destiny. ONI 111.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
shoot.
that's weak. Okay, so you've got 121 hours deleted.
Oh snap! Deleted.
You have 628 hours total.
So that's orbit time and any other time you had it on.
Your Titan has 265 hours. Your Warlock has 147 hours. Your Hunter has 93 hours. You have one deleted character at 117 hours.
Oh.
And another deleted character at 2 hours. And 2 more deleted characters at 0 hours.
Yeah.
Do you not like the way you created your Guardians? Come on, man.
No, the open spot was for my kids. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
That being said, I don't know what your active gameplay is, Brandon, but I've seen the 3,000 plus hours on Xbox dashboard there.
So my wasted on Destiny time, his was 600, mine's 1,900. My Warlock alone has 723 hours. My Hunter has 642 hours. I've got a deleted Titan that was 353 hours. Another Titan of 173 hours. A deleted Hunter of 75 hours. And a deleted Warlock with 0 hours.
So not all
because
your
I too couldn't make up my own.
not all your choices were perfect.
Yeah. There's that one character that's just cannon fodder.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically all it was.
Yeah.
Me and
Sorry to derail the train.
Oh no, you're fine. Me and Nick won't speak on that other than we've
14 hours, 3 minutes.
Get good, kid. Get good.
What's that, Nick?
14 hours, 3 minutes, and I'm already just shy of 400 light points.
No, it's easy to do now. Back in the day, it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's easy. I'll get out to get to 400.
Yeah, he said.
Well, I never played it. I just recently started because they were hounding me about it.
Well, yeah, we're all kind of jumping on the wagon here for this next one, but
I've always been a PC gamer and didn't play much with my console.
And now you have that opportunity. Way to bring it to the end of our notes.
Sorry.
No, but on that note, I'll push that up to the top of the list here. Yeah, exclusive PC release through the Blizzard Battle.net is what Activision and Bungie are doing with their PC release. It's going to have a slightly delayed release. They haven't confirmed a date yet. It will be after the consoles on September 8th. There is not a confirmed date yet, but PC gamers will be getting that finally. And on the plus side of that, you've got your Blizzard servers.
They're not using Blizzard servers; they're using Activision's. Blizzard is just managing it. The servers, none of them are dedicated. It's kind of a hybrid between dedicated and peer-to-peer, like what they had in Destiny 1. Supposedly, Activision is going to be hosting every bit of the gameplay, so there will be no more host migration if player A leaves the fire team and they're the party host, so that way you won't run to orbit and come right back down because somebody left. So that is a good thing, but everybody was hoping for dedicated servers, and I think that was the biggest blowback to.
Right, right. I misstepped when I spoke Blizzard because I already knew they did not have dedicated servers. But that was the missing detail. I didn't know what they were concentrating on to make things better with, and so that's a good point, and hopefully that falls through.
Will this be cross-platform?
Negative.
Damn.
It's unconfirmed as to whether or not you'll be able to, and I know you...
It won't be.
No. That's not what I meant. Transfer your data from account to account. They haven't denied that yet.
What they are doing to prevent gameplay is all of your characters will basically be saved on Activision's super server. So that way there is no ability for PC users to go through and edit your save file and what like that to give you unlimited health or unlimited bullets and things like that. So, I mean, that is really good. And I'm fairly certain they're getting that from Blizzard's side of things, especially with games like, Overwatch and things like that. And especially with, StarCraft 2 and things, that they've had for a long time. They've had multiplayer and competitive multiplayer modes where they've had to watch for things like that.
Okay. Right. Well, that sounds pretty good. Overall, anyway. Anyway, Nick, thanks for that segue. I'm going to bring it back up to the top of our outline.
Sorry.
Just kidding, I'm just playing.
Way to go, a-hole.
We'll just bounce back and forth. It's all good.
So one of the first things they talked about regarding clans was they're really focusing now on the customization of it, guiding players through. Because here's one thing that was really hard for a lot of players in original Destiny, and that was ever seeing that end game content. Only the avid, hardcore, which is half this group here tonight, would get to play raids or even have the equipment or status. Brandon?
The official number literally was 50% who have actually gone through and tried and completed raids and things like that. So literally half this group here has gone through and done that.
Right, so we're an accurate representation of the larger
exactly
Destiny crowd out there.
I'm the newest to the game, and I've done raids.
Say that again?
I'm the newest to the game out of the table, and I've done raids.
You also have a maxed out character.
Which raids? Because one of them doesn't really count. It's more of a strike.
Crota?
Yep, that's a strike. That's not a raid.
And well, it's classified as a raid.
You can solo that start to finish.
If you got a good enough hunter, you can walk right through it. Like, seriously.
Oh, a warlock.
Stealth your way through.
Yeah, warlock. Yeah, you can do it with
solo
warlock.
the entire thing.
But then you're kind of limited to Sunsinger on the warlock, whereas I could go through with the hunter and do, Night Stalker or Blade Dancer and walk through it.
Have you done it since they changed the mechanic round for the bridge?
Where you're forced to, do the full setup of the 3 going across, right. And then, yeah, I've done it since.
A warlock
then.
can solo that.
Yeah, that's true.
What you do is you just do the bridge jump across, wait for the knight to come through. It'll kill you. You self-res on the other side. Yeah. Do it all over again until you get 5 of them over there. Go kill all 5 of the knights all at once, then you're done.
Yeah, that's fair enough. With the new 390, yeah, the warlock's the only one that can really do it at all. But right. the old version, if you want to, go for that flawless raider achievement, you could go for you could go solo with it, whatever, kinda. I mean, if you had a Titan with Twilight Garrison, you could almost do it with that too, if you knew, strategically all your moves.
But on that note, guys, speaking to the other half that hasn't experienced that crap, one of the things Destiny 2 is bringing to the table to allow the other half of us that maybe don't have the time to get to that final stage stuff. We've got kind of their own version of a matchmaking system called Guided Games, which is going to allow clans with not a full fire team of 6 to meet up with random up to I think they said up to 2 solo players could potentially find a clan or a group that's looking for additional members to then get into like trials and raids on, which is pretty cool.
Kind of like an LFG?
Yeah, kind of like for once, right? Building in.
It's funny because it's going to put all the LFG sites pretty much out of the water.
Yeah, it'll.
They're going to be completely pointless now.
It'll make the little companion app, the LFG companion app for Destiny, just a waste.
Yeah, it really is. Actually, I mean, it sucks for them, but it's also something that Bungie should have had from day one. But it's one of those things on the wish list that they're finally putting in there.
They just assumed everybody had friends. Come on.
But, anyway, I mean, that being said, like, well, and, I mean, to their experience and history, Halo and matchmaking, that was kind of a semi-beautiful thing if you were just looking for someone to play. Sorry. If you were just looking to play with other players, the difference between Halo and Destiny, though, is that this is a community that's built around fostering good times, and Halo had that in different respects, but there was nothing to really prevent you from getting shafted 90% of the time.
See,
or you know what I mean?
With that pairing with Blizzard that they're doing now, they probably snagged that LFG thing from Blizzard's past mishaps, like with WoW. Instead of spamming public chat.
No, they actually kind of started to put that into Destiny 1 when they started implemented the friend screen and all that with the clans. It showed your clan members that you're directly clanned up with through Bungie's website right there on that screen. So they've been thinking about implementing it for a while, and they actually started to, but they didn't want to do a complete system overhaul until Destiny 2.
Yeah, they also put that community thing into the app, didn't they? Where you could search through that instead of communities on like PlayStation Network or through
Right. So anyway, I think it's safe to say everyone here agrees that this is definitely a good thing for this feature in this game. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Moving forward, something they've changed up with other gameplays settings is they've gone from your required full fire team to now cutting it down to 4v4. I think this leaves a lot of room for, and I think maybe Bungie might be, and Brandon, tell me if you agree with this, they're kind of maybe pushing for MLG in the future with this. Like,
yeah, basically 4v4 is, for the most part, the unspoken standard for any Major League Gaming type events and things like that. All the other games have gone to it. Halo does it as well, so that's why they're pretty much going to this. Yeah,
so that makes sense. And I'm kind of down with it. I mean, 4 is kind of the sweet spot anyway when you've got friends and what have you. But did anyone else have anything to say about that specifically, the 4v4? Nick? Brandon?
Is the friends aspect of that a downloadable content I need to order?
Yeah, but it's going to be a monthly charge, not just a one-time charge.
Oh,
I think I can accept that.
I think the 4v4, it'll make it interesting for team composition, It won't be so much random as it was in the past. It'll be more, strategically built.
It makes sense because in my limited experience with hopping on places like the Crucible, I would find, it'd be me, Nick, and Matt. Maybe we'd hop on for sure, and that's who we got, and then it'd find 3 more randoms,
Yeah.
Or 2 more randoms, whatever that fire team was for Crucible. So 4v4 is kind of nice. You got less randoms, and you're more I'm more likely to have 3 buddies to find, to hop onto these game types.
I got you. Well, I'm talking more in general, like, you're not getting 4 Bubble Titans. Or you're not getting,
Oh, right.
4 Sun Singers or 4 Blade Dancers.
Saturated classing.
Yeah, it'll be more, I don't know. If you're getting 4 people or 3 people to
balanced.
join a team. Yeah.
Which is the whole MLG
Unless y'all
thing.
choose to do that.
What's that, Nick?
Unless y'all choose to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, as far as like features within the Crucible, you've got I think it's in Crucible. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they've got revamped player indicators where you can kind of, there's an indication of whether or not someone has a super or if they've picked up power ammo, and that kind of, it's like they said in the presentation, the more information we can give the players, the better. Do you guys agree with that as from a competitive perspective?
Oh, for sure. I mean, if I know somebody's got a super, then I'm not going to go near them because you never know what it is. The other thing is you've always been able to tell if they've had their super or not, even in Destiny 1. With Destiny 1, if you looked at their level number above their head as they're running by, if it's got a faint gold outline around the outside of it, that means they have their super.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was really subtle back then. I mean, I'm guessing there's much bigger indicators this time around.
Now that's talking just teammates, correct?
No, that's enemies.
No.
Oh,
that's
it's
everyone.
enemies
That's
too?
everyone on the map.
Okay. Well, I mean, currently, to see that enemies have it, you got to have an artifact to do that. Like,
Nope.
I could have swore you have to have that artifact that
If
shows
you
that
are,
an enemy
like,
has...
if somebody kills you, it works with somebody kills you. Like, so say I shoot you, but I've got my super, you're dead, you'll see my body highlighted, and then above my name and whatnot, you'll see the little yellow box that highlights my super being active and ready.
Oh, okay.
A new mode they're adding, which is not new by multiplayer FPS shooters, but it is new to the Destiny world, and that is a game mode called Countdown, which is a little bit of an attack-defend mode, a little bit of maybe King of the Hill, I guess. How do you guys feel about them adding this? Good, bad, fun, interested?
Like Team King of the Hill? Solo King of the Hill?
I basically will not have an opinion of it at all until I actually play it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Its execution will determine
whether we like it or not, right? That's fair.
Because, I mean, it's a change, it's going to be new, and there's going to be haters.
There were haters after the presentation was done. They're like, oh, way to introduce another DLC. And I was just like, really? You know how much they're adding? Which we're about to cover now, guys.
Real quick, one more thing in Crucible. You got Trials of Osiris is no longer. It is being replaced by Trials of the Nine. It will not be readily available at launch, but it will be probably shortly after the first raid comes out.
Nice. So was that some insider info? Because I don't think that was in the presentation, right?
Nope, it wasn't. Just letting you know.
So are they going to completely remove Osiris altogether, or
Osiris is actually going to be the first DLC.
Really?
So they've already announced the 2 DLCs. They showed the banners for them.
Right.
The first one will be Osiris, and the second one will be about Rasputin the Warmind.
So they're finally going to close that chapter.
Or open it up wider, if you ask me. But Osiris should be out before the end of the year, and then mid-spring or whatnot for the Rasputin one, if I had to guess.
More DLC to pay for.
Will Xur be the representative?
They've already stated that Xur will have a larger role in Destiny 2 than he did in Destiny 1.
Ooh.
On the plus side, Nick, Bungie has a, I believe they called it a robust release platform as far as continual content. They're claiming they're going to keep up with the players as far as keeping us active with things to do, and that includes DLC.
They should be able to do that no problem because they delayed Destiny 2 for a full year, so there should be no problem being ahead of schedule on content because they've had the last year to do it. Because technically Rise of Iron was supposed to be part of the last expansion, The Taken King. Right. And then they decided to drag everything out and make it last longer and postpone it for a whole year.
So there's some crazy promise that we can hopefully be hopeful for. Moving forward as far as additional things, we've got 3 new supers. The Hunter's Arc Strider. Sorry, go ahead. Brandon?
They are not new supers, they are reworked supers.
Are they?
So the Arc Strider is taking the place of Arcblade, Dawnblade is taking the place of Sunsinger, and Sentinel is taking the place of Defender Titan.
Nice, okay.
If you didn't know, Dawnblade is the solar, and you will be losing self-res. There is no more self-res Warlock.
I knew that part. There was a healing factor, though, wasn't there? Somewhere in there?
It's basically going to work like Weapons of Light, and like a healing bubble is basically what it is. It's going to be a pull that places on the ground, and if you step in it, it can heal you, or it can give you bonus to your damage. Each of the three different Guardian classes will have something similar to that.
Nice. On a side note, and maybe you can answer this now, since we're covering these classes and whatnot. Lynn, what were you concerned about them losing in the Warlocks? And maybe Brandon might know this answer.
Oh no, it was more the Titan, but by the sounds of it, that's the way that it is. It's with the rework. Instead of having the bubble, it's going to be that portable shield.
Oh, okay.
That's the way that it sounds.
Yep. There is no more bubble at all. What it is just like the Warlock's pool of whatever you want to call it that's on the ground. There will be a Weapons of Light and a Blessing of Light that goes on the ground in order to facilitate that instead.
I gotcha.
And that's actually because, like, currently there's, you got your melee, you have your grenade, and you have your super.
Yeah.
In Destiny 2, you're going to have a melee, a grenade, and a third ability. That third ability is going to be your pull that goes onto the ground that you can activate regardless, and that doesn't include your super.
I noticed that they were talking about that, like your like the shoulder charge in Destiny 1. They were talking like an additional ticker for those sub abilities. And by the sounds of it, that's what you're talking about with the pool for the healing. And
right.
That'll be pretty interesting to see.
So it'll almost be like the utility option.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Nice. So moving on from the physical character abilities, they really are Bungie's adding a considerable amount of content. We've got 4 new areas. I wouldn't call them worlds. People were calling them worlds, and I thought, wait, no. And what they mean is areas because you've got Titan, Io, Nessus, and really it's Earth again, but because the tower is destroyed in the cinematic trailer that all of us have seen, it's the European Dead Zone, which they're stating is double the size of the Cosmodrome and all that. And really one of the biggest explorable areas in all the previous Destiny locations prior. What's cool about these new areas is, aside from being visually diverse, they're adding an RPG element that I feel like, you got it with the patrols, I guess, to some extent, but they're really pushing the exploration aspect by adding adventure mode, so to speak, in these worlds, by placing NPCs that you actually talk to, that you actually get culturally, environmentally based missions on. Oh, go help the tribe do this. Oh, go help my family get that, or help me do whatever. So you're going to get a lot of different side missions that force you to explore these new worlds. I think that's incredibly exciting. How do you guys feel about that adding that explorative element? Because we did a lot of it was just a shooter with an open world template, but it wasn't really the MMO that everyone thought it was going to be when they first talked about it. How do you guys feel about them adding this element to it?
It just feels like another way to drive a storyline, fill it out.
But this is actually going to deviate from...
It's not a bad thing.
Right, and this is actually going to deviate from the campaign. These are completely part of the world, but not driving the main story.
So
these are basically side quest to side quest. At first, when I heard about it, I was extremely excited about it because I played games like Guild Wars 2, and things like that had like small little crawler dungeon things like that you can go do. But now, after more time of sitting on it, stewing on it, and thinking about it, they seem more like just busy work to keep us busy until they can pull their head out of their rear end and release more content.
Well, that's a skeptic's view.
They want to give the fetch quest a little bit of soul.
Well, me personally, I'm a completionist, so little things like that.
But that's just it, though. It's not a fetch quest. There is no quest leading up to going in there. You will be literally driving your Sparrow down this alleyway. You'll see a symbol on the wall painted, and that's how you'll know that an entrance to this random dungeon will be nearby. You go into it, you fight all the way to the end. There will be a boss. You get a drop. That's it.
Is it?
You know that for sure, huh?
Mayhaps it.
Yes.
Mayhaps it be repeatable. Or reoccurring?
Yes. It's not. You can go in there as many times as you want. You can farm for loot, as far as I know.
So if you
it's literally just a time kill.
So if you leave the area and you come back, the patrol beacon may be there.
It's not going to be a patrol beacon.
No, I know. But if you go to orbit now and you come back, the patrol beacon for the kill the high value target might be there.
What?
Be a little more straightforward. What are you saying, Lynn?
No, what I'm saying is right now, okay, so when you leave the area, like say you spawn into the Cosmodrome, there's a chance that there may be a patrol beacon for a high value target. Sometimes
I thought we were talking about the explorable dungeons.
No, that's what I'm leading into. Is when you go in, there's a chance that beacon's there. And sometimes when you go in, that beacon's not there. But you go off to, say, the rocket yard, and that beacon is there. And then you grab it, you go over, kill that high-value target, you come back. There may be another high-value target beacon in the area prior to. What I'm saying is, you go into this area right now, that tag or spray paint to go into that special dungeon that may spawn, may not spawn, might be there, and then you go into it, you come out, you go back in, it might still be there. Like go into the area.
To always be there. For the dungeons, they're going to be in a set area every time. Right, for the dungeons.
Okay.
Supposedly.
Now, patrols is probably... I don't know for sure about the patrols, but the patrols will probably be close to the same, where you'll have the beacons in the exact same spots, but it'll still be a random spawn on which one is where.
Or like...
I think what he was wondering is will the beacon give you a mission to kill the person at the end of one of those random dungeons?
Oh, that I don't know.
And when you leave, will it come back and be there?
That I don't know.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much it right there. But the thing that I'm kind of getting at is, like, you're saying that there will be random people in the area that you can gather quests from. Are there going to be, like, certain quests that are really rare?
No, like, it's literally going to be a painting right there on the wall.
Oh, okay.
And as you drive past it, you see that painting, and you'll know the entrance to this random dungeon will be close by. So you just walk around, look for the random entrance, go into the entrance, go all the way through it, kill all the bad guys, kill the boss, get loot, go back out, and continue on your way.
And that's going to be a soloable event, or is it going to be fire team required sometime?
They didn't say that much. They said, like, if you're in a strike or something, and like, currently if you do a strike on Earth or something like that, and on the goal, you can kind of explore a little bit. Like, you can be doing the middle of a strike, and
you
can see that entrance and just randomly go off.
Or you can run into a world event or something. Do this
small dungeon, right.
Yeah.
And then come back out. Right, exactly.
You have the painting on the wall of the gear, and that gives you a secondary mission inside your mission.
Right. That
kind of thing.
Kinda.
Well,
yeah.
We got the general gist. It's kind of cool that they're adding it in. Foutz is a little skeptical on its quality and monotony potential.
The monotony will be the...
It's going to be there. It's going to have grind elements. That's what it is. It's that kind of game. Two last points or little elements they've added and / removed. As far as they've added map mode with actual physical indicators for, like, live events. And, like, here's a raid. You know what I mean? Like, okay, here's a public event over here.
Big public events.
Right, so public event. So you literally pull up a map like any other RPG. Destiny hasn't really had a physical locked map before that you can just pull up.
Yeah.
But they're now going to have a physical map you can pull up with markers for all various events. And on a side note, to add one last note to add to that, they're getting rid of orbit mode entirely, allowing, cutting down. They're going to load a different way, or this gen is just going to be able to load faster anyway. I hope to God. Freaking dude, like last night I was trying to load up the game, and it's been loading fast lately, but last night me and Nick were hopping on. We were having difficulties trying to stay in a fire team together. It kept kicking us out. I don't know what was going on. But when I
actually looked at it, they were having server issues.
I thought so, but like when we loaded up the game, I sat there for a good 5 minutes for the title screen. Another couple minutes. Oh, now I can pick my class or my character to actually load into the game. It was so slow. So I'm sure with this gen, load times will be better, I hope. And with them getting rid of orbit mode, I hope that's a good indication it's going to be fast loading. And it's also just another... it's just cutting out just a step of fast travel, too, because now you're going to be able to drop from one planet to the next or from one drop zone in a single map to another drop zone on that same map, rather than...
So will that actually give us fast travel?
That's... for places that have landing zones. It's not fast travel in the sense of, like, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can't create, fast zones. It's not like Skyrim travel points. It's locked drop zones from what I understand, right, Brandon?
As far as I know, yeah.
That's all we know for now as far as fast travel is concerned. Is if it's a large map like the European Dead Zone, there's probably going to be a handful of drop zones for your ship. And cutting out the orbit mode entirely just means it's going to load straight to that point rather than taking that extra step of going up here, now pick a destination. It's going to be pick a destination, go. So I don't know how fast the loading is going to be, but we're skipping. So anyway, so we've got map indicators for events, and they're killing out the orbit mode. What do you guys feel about those things overall?
The ship. What happens to my ship?
That's a good question, actually.
It looks pretty, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, looks pretty, but you don't get to look at it as much.
Yeah, when are you going to see it? I mean, the only time
no, you are going to see it. The loading screens are not going away. You are still going to be flying down from planet to planet, but there will be no more going from Earth, orbit, moon, then location. Orbit, Earth. Right. You go straight from Earth. You go from Earth straight to Io, or straight to Titan.
And you'll still see the physical ship flying to it. You just will skip the orbit mode.
So the orbit's not going to be the central location that you start from.
You actually just pull up your ghost, go to your map, and then hit your right bumper, and it'll bring up the entire director that'll show all the planets and everything else as well.
I'm down with this.
My question is when they're going to start space battles.
I wouldn't expect it anytime soon.
And if they do, there's zero details on that. Anyway, right now.
That'd be awesome.
They just introduced, on a side note, they did just introduce, it's not new. It's new as in the last year. They put actual Gundam-style wings in Warframe. Have you seen that, Brandon? A little bit of the space flight missions?
Yet. Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Where you're actually like flying between debris and blasting as your little Warframe.
Those things are a pain in the ass to fly sometimes.
Oh, they are.
Especially, there's one mission where it's actually timed and trying to get from point A to point B and not die, plus kill everything and stop a ship.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Damn near impossible unless you've leveled up your wings.
Yeah. But
what is Warframe?
I just wonder.
Warframe is another kind of MMO type thing.
You don't know what Warframe is, Nick? It's been free for 3 years on Xbox, and you have an Xbox One. Go look.
And you can get it on PC for free.
Yeah, go look it up after we're done here.
And you can get it on PlayStation for free.
So weird! It's free everywhere. Yep, it's a free MMO style. It's
a free game you should play.
PlayStation doesn't count. Sorry.
We're not going.
I've got a PlayStation.
We're not going there. We don't need to go there because we're all.
I know, it was a joke.
Equality, life. Anyway, Warframe's a fun game. It's got a lot of the elements of Destiny, but it's kind of like on samurai steroids because it's got a whole melee side that's nothing like Destiny. It's a very different game, so I'm not going to compare it to Destiny anymore, but there's a lot of elements that are paralleled, and you need to go check that out. It's a lot of fun, and you can actually team up and join clans as well, so yeah, go check it out. Go check it out, Nick.
Again, the farm is real.
Get off right now. Go check it out. What? Yeah, I'm a hard cut from gaming topics, so guys, that kind of wraps up what we know.
But you didn't even ask if I've been playing games.
What have you been
Shadow
playing?
Warrior 2. Have you ever heard of Shadow Warrior?
Yes, through the Discord, and you're asking of us to grab a copy because it looked awesome.
Dude, the game is fantastic. Play it. Do it. You're a ninja with a chainsaw and you go and cut everybody to pieces.
It's that game.
Dude.
Endless hordes
Have you attacked the
of people.
rabbits yet?
Oh, yeah. No. I played the original DOS game from 97.
Oh, there you go.
So I've been playing this game since I was a kid. Before Joe was even born.
I gotta say, though, Phantom Dust
I haven't played it.
re-release is really good.
Anyways, we can
That's free.
continue on. But I was just going to give you guys shit. Buy Shadow Warrior 2. Damn it. Do it.
Oh, well, if we're going to plug games, we'll cut this little segment into the end of gaming. On a side note, I have been playing a slightly different game as of late, a little bit of an indie platformer by the name of Embers of Miram. It's actually been a blast overall, a few frustrating moments, but I kind of attribute that mostly to my lack of platforming expertise. I'm not a huge puzzle-solving platform gamer, but this also introduces a cool mechanic of controlling two lights of ember with separate joysticks and separate triggers. And a lot of puzzles involve going the same direction and then veering in different directions, which kind of throws your hand-eye coordination off a bit, which can kind of leave you frustrating at first. Doesn't require a whole lot of mastery, just a little bit of patience. Guys, go check out my Let's Play series. I've got the first 4 videos up from that game on our YouTube channel, which is where, if you're watching this podcast right now, you will find those videos as well. But if you're not listening to that, or if you're not watching our channel, go check out Nerdentials on YouTube. That's where Embers of Miram is currently, and I've been having fun with that game. So,
Shameless plug.
shameless plug, yes. Nick, do you have anything you want to add to things you've been playing lately? Oh, or you already did, didn't you?
Mostly Destiny, and a little bit of Phantom Dust.
Oh, that's right. And Lynn, anything other than Destiny?
Shoot, I've actually been doing the Persona 5.
Persona 5?
I love the game.
Yeah, it's a
So
good
much
play. It's definitely it's friendly to first timers. If you're not used to the JRPG, that whole first week or so, it walks you through it, holds your hand, and then it turns you loose and makes you regret life.
For sure. I completely 100% agree with that.
Yeah, it goes. Well, you can do each one of these individual tasks throughout the day. It's going to take up a part of your day, like a morning, afternoon, or evening. And then it goes, we're going to structure the first week for you. And then once you're finished with that first week, it goes, well, here, have at it. And it goes, we hope you don't mess up.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. But it's I gotta say, it's if you're new to the franchise, like the Shin Megami franchise, it's pretty, aesthetically appealing, and it grabs you for that turn-based RPG.
Nice. Yeah, my brother has played that quite a bit. I think Chris from Geekologist Radio has put some time into that. You yourself as well. Content sharing, always fun.
Gotta love it.
Well, guys, that'll wrap up, I think, our gaming topics for this week. Let's jump into some movie matters. So, guys, we don't have a lot of news relating to movies this week. I mean, there's a lot coming out and a lot that is currently out. So we just wanted to briefly touch on one tidbit of comic book based news that a couple of us are pretty excited over. The Venom movie release has been announced, as well as the lead casting role of Tom Hardy being thrown into the Eddie Brock Venom character. So, and it's looking at an October 5th of 2018, next fall, so that's when we can expect that. And the only little bit of info I know in this is that Zombieland's Ruben Fleischer is directing it, and Nick, I know you have a few more details on this if you want to make any points on it.
Yeah, the whole idea behind having Tom Hardy be Venom is going to be awesome. Just the way he brings to roles is always fulfilling. The director is an awesome part. The producers of the show and the writers they're bringing a lot of weight to it. They're people that have been in the comic book movie industry for quite a while. Avi Arad, Matt Tolmach, Amy Pascal. They've all done movies like Iron Man, Spider-Man, X-Men, Ghostbusters. They're all producing this. The writers include like Jeff Pinkner and Scott Rosenberg. Pinkner did Spider-Man 2, Fringe, Alias, and Scott Rosenberg is a little bit older on the movies, did stuff more like Con Air and Gone in 60 Seconds. So big on the action-packed movies and stuff like that. So, and everyone liked the stories in most of those movies.
Right, so the content should be expected to be strong at least.
Yeah. But they haven't really released a plot per se for the movie. We know it's Eddie Brock, who was the original incarnation of Venom. They haven't said if it's going to be more towards the symbiote that's alien-based or the symbiote that's created by the government through technology. Because you have your different worlds. You have the Ultimate and then the original. But they have confirmed that this is going to be part of the Sony MCU. So everything from Spider-Man Homecoming, this is directly connected. So therefore it's connected to the Marvel, the regular Marvel MCU.
No, it is and it isn't. I actually heard in an interview that the director or writer of Spider-Man Homecoming directly confirmed there is no connection to this Venom movie.
Yep. The Sony Cinematic Universe is not connected in any way, shape, or form to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, other than characters.
Except for the Homecoming.
Nope. Homecoming and the next one is supposedly going to be strictly Marvel, and then after that, Marvel, I was told, loses the rights back to Spider-Man, and Sony takes back over.
Because Sony had been talking about wanting to pull back after the initial deal, and I think that's a reflection of what we're seeing, or what we will be seeing. Yeah, so I mean, with that, that's what we know. Anyway. Which is unfortunate for all of us fans, because we'd love to see the marriage of all these characters.
Yeah, and the movie, the success of the movie will all be kind of based on where in the storyline that they're going to put Eddie Brock. We don't know if this is going to be him still murder, destroy Spider-Man, or if this is going to be him anti-hero in San Francisco doing his own thing.
That's what I've seen is reports is it's going to be the anti-hero version.
Yeah. So not as dark, perhaps. I mean, it's still going to be gritty, but it's not going to be...
Oh yeah, it's going to be gritty for sure. I mean, it's Venom.
And it's going to be dark. He is Punisher on steroids in that. He's very over-the-top, vigilante justice, and yeah.
That should be interesting to see.
But also in those...
I was just going to say, that should be interesting to see how Tom Hardy pulls off that role. I have no doubt, none of us do, I think, of how he's going to flesh out the gritty side of this. I'm just kind of curious as to what version of what kind of Eddie Brock we're going to get out of him, you know. You think this is later years? I mean, he's not exactly young.
Well, to be the vigilante anti-hero in San Francisco, it's going to be later. It's after he kind of reconciled the whole thing where, okay, it's not Spider-Man's fault. Got to go do my own thing now.
Right, okay.
And that's in those comic books too. That's actually where you start seeing people like Toxin, Scream, Venom, more different
the various symbiotes,
incarnations of Venom. Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to have multiple symbiotes in this movie, which would be kind of cool.
I think,
because who doesn't want to see Carnage on the big screen?
Yeah. That would be sick. I don't know where they're going to go with that. Yeah, I mean, as far as being an introductory movie for the character Venom, and yeah, I'm just anticipating. I'm waiting in anticipation to see what they do, I guess.
Well, you're talking that you'd like to see the marriage of the characters. Maybe it's the introduction of all of the others that you might be looking for the marriage.
So, real quick on his character and how he's going to be portrayed. This report that I just seen, it says, in his most famous comic book incarnation, Brock is largely motivated by his hatred for Spider-Man. He picks up the discarded black Spidey suit, which, unbeknownst to him, is an alien symbiote that bonds with the user, out of a sense of mean-minded injustice because the wall crawler is responsible for exposing his yellow journalism, which has ultimately led to Brock's sacking of the Daily Globe and a divorce from his wife. It is only later that the character morphs into the anti-hero mode, moving to San Francisco and helping a community of homeless people in the Venom Lethal Protector storyline. That is what they're saying that this is going to be.
Nice.
Yeah, Lethal Protector didn't happen till San Francisco, which is good. Think Spawn mixed with Punisher.
Right. Cool. All right. That's kind of all we had for movie matters at the moment. Brandon?
Also, John Wick 3 is officially go, and they're already halfway done writing the script and shooting for a 2019 release.
Sweet.
Early 2019, end of 2018.
Nice. Who here is at least caught up on the movie franchise? Brandon, I'm sure you guys have talked about it already. I've heard.
Yes.
I do listen to your guys' podcast. Nick,
we have
Nick
a listener.
Lynn, you guys, yeah, you do.
They like us.
I saw the first
they
one. Haven't seen the second one yet.
Have you checked them out, Nick?
I saw the first one. Really loved it. Kind of good to see Keanu Reeves as a badass again, without the whole surfer
Honestly,
persona.
He does this role extremely well. He prepared for months and months and months for this role. It's basically what he lives for right now, is this role in general.
Yeah, it's honestly my favorite role that he's ever done.
No, I'm going to disagree with that. The other movie that he's got coming out is going to be my favorite, and that's Bill and Ted's Adventure 3.
Oh yeah,
because the third one is coming.
Oh God,
The third movie is coming.
Damn you revivals!
Excellent.
Oh man. No, absolutely fine, man. Any additional side notes, guys, for movies this week? Nothing?
You guys brought up the Grinch?
Grinch?
Yeah. The new one's coming with Benedict Cumberbatch.
What? Lynn, tell us. What was this about?
Really?
Yeah. What? Come on.
what is this nonsense?
Yeah,
this year? Is it coming
Why
out
did
this
you
year?
say that name?
It's coming out next year. It's projected for late this year, early next year.
Well, they can't do early. It's a holiday film.
Right? No, what they were saying was it was supposed to be the end of this year, and it's supposedly Benedict Cumberbatch is the voice of Grinch.
Huh. Full CG or?
Yeah, it's going to be, they're taking it to look like, the CG from Horton Hears a Who and
Oh, weird. Okay.
those other ones. So
Yeah, I just looked it up. It totally looks like Court Here's You.
right
Done by Illumination Studios.
exactly. It's
Universal.
and they're taking it back to the the Horton Here's a Whoville.
Nice.
Saying Christmas 2018.
Oh, okay. So next.
Very cool. So shortly after Venom. Nice. Bringing it back around, guys.
I did not know about this one.
But the thing that got me with it was the whole Benedict Cumberbatch thing. I was like, what?
Hey, he
It's
takes
Grinch.
some
All right.
interesting roles, and especially with voice acting.
He's going to be the new Samuel L. Jackson in everything.
Well, if Tom Hardy keeps up, he's going to be like that too. Because, I mean, he's got the new Mad Max coming out.
He's in that show.
Yeah, he's in Taboo, which is going to be in season 2 as well. Venom. He might replace...
He was in that chick flick action thing with Chris Pine.
Sorry, I don't watch chick flicks.
They were CIA agents fighting over the same girl.
Sure.
You know what? That's okay. We'll do a mini-sode on rom-coms, Nicholas.
No, thank you.
Oh, okay then. Well, you just slammed down your own knowledge.
I'm just messing with you.
Denied.
Exactly. And on that note, Foutz, let's move into TV talk.
I like TV.
So guys, in TV talk, there's a couple things I want to cover that I'm excited about. I don't have a lot of details on this particular series, but I'm excited to see. Paul called it out a couple months back about the CW just taking over our weekday nights, and regardless of whether you like the CW or not, that seems to be what they're doing, bringing in a 5th show into their weeknight lineup in the form of Black Lightning. Nick, I'm going to throw the mic over to you for a little bit, and you give us just a quick rundown of what this show is looking like.
Black Lightning was actually the first big DC African-American superhero in the comic books. Came out in April of 1977. Very short run. In Black Lightning, black guy that control lightning, electricity. Just he can amplify the ambient electricity around him. The show actually goes later in his career. It's he's done, retired, and he's actually the principal of a school. And the main character is going to be played by Cress Williams. Will be playing as Jefferson Pierce. And the whole show will revolve around the Pierce family. Him, his daughters, his ex-wife, and everything that's happening with a gang that's trying to take over the town. I'm excited for the show itself, just because of the content, and the comic books were actually pretty good. But I'm kind of worried about the directors and the showrunners. They haven't actually tackled anything like this before. The stuff they've done is The Game, Cougar Town, Being Mary Jane. So they're more towards the drama side. But
CW is drama.
Yep.
I think this looks horrible.
It's the few lines you hear in the trailer are very corny one-liners. And that's why I'm kind of worried about, because the directors and the showrunners for it. It's one of those things, the inner nerd screams that he wants to watch it, so I'm going to probably watch it just to get that fix, but I'm still worried that it's just going to be that one-liners, kind of like a Shaft or something.
Or BVS, or Justice League trailer, or anyway, I'm not...
Anything DC.
We all love the DC, even Brandon, but we also all agree openly that they continually screw up. I'm going to redirect this conversation because I'm not constantly looking at your screen to see your guys' reactions. So, Brandon, what did I offend or defend?
You said I'm all about the DC. I'm like, no, you must not be listening to my podcast. We bag on it just about every week.
Okay, let me rephrase that. No, you don't appreciate anything they're doing right now. You're DC fans as far as like maybe the origination of those characters. But Brandon, you've never openly bashed the actual characters. You've only bashed the movie franchise, which is suffering horribly due to lack of actual talent. Now, am I correct in saying that, or do you truly hate all the comic books and everything related to DC?
Let's see. Can I get you to argue if I say I do?
You could, but actually I'm probably not going to be that hostile about it because I know that's not entirely true unless you disprove me right now.
No, I dislike the direction that they've gone in several of the movies and as well as the TV shows. Now, The Flash, I love The Flash on CW. I love the first 4 seasons, I believe, of Arrow.
That's accurate.
Fifth one just finished, right?
That's fair to say.
Fifth one sucked. DC Legends of Tomorrow sucked. Supergirl, not a fan at all. I just, from the trailer and stuff that we've seen of Black Lightning, I have very low expectations for the series.
Gotham was also really good.
No, it wasn't.
Well, Nick, you and Paul are going to have to get in a conversation because Paul loves Gotham. And to your point, Brandon, I don't agree.
The first season of Gotham was good. I could not follow it after that.
Well, to each his own, and that's too bad. But you know what? There's so much content coming out on all cylinders that, we can't really disagree or agree with what you should be watching other than, obviously, if it doesn't strike a note with you, move on to the next thing. And honestly, that's kind of my philosophy in things because there's so much content that's come out in the last year alone. It's like we don't have time to afford a random tangent like, oh, maybe it gets better. And like Chris from Geekologist Radio, he's the same way. We don't have the time, to invest in something that comes off mediocre in episode 1 or 2. But we're all DC fans. We, at this table tonight, we all hope to see things get better. And right now we've got a lot of crap that Warner Brothers has shoved down our throats unceremoniously. Nick, do you want to add to that or say something else?
I was just going to say, I don't know what genie Marvel stumbled upon, but...
It's a gin. It's going to fuck up sometime. Sorry.
DC is having a hard time trying to keep up with them, and that's what they're trying to do.
Sorry.
They're just shoving content after content after content after us to try to bring us back to that side.
Let me just interject briefly. I haven't watched it all, but Marvel did screw up briefly, and that was Iron Fist.
I would disagree.
I actually liked it.
Oh, God.
You could not connect it for Defenders without Iron Fist.
That's fine.
Well, all I'm saying is you could not connect the other shows to Defenders without Iron Fist.
I'm not angry about the disagreement. I disagree too. I don't feel that way. I just meant that critics and a lot of people didn't like it.
Moving on from CW's Black Lightning, up next on Nerdentials TV Talk, we're going to go into deep discovery of Star Trek Discovery.
You could not have painted that more clearly. Yes, those words were true. But we're not going to go balls deep like Nick.
Damn it.
I don't mean...
It doesn't take much. Sorry.
He does take...
Dear Lord, I apologize, and please be with the pygmies in New Guinea.
That's right. I understand he had to go on a small tangent there.
Oh.
Well, it was your tangent I went off on.
Someone had to.
Well, guys...
Don't want no short.
We may never resolve the DC Comics universe. We may never be pleased. And with that, we will hard cut straight to a different topic with equal controversy. Sorry, Lynn.
Maybe the thing with Marvel is they're not constantly trying to self-recreate themselves. Like, restart stuff or revamp or revisit or reboot.
The biggest problem I've got, honestly, the biggest problem I have with DC is they're doing everything out of order. With Marvel, they basically started with Iron Man, used it as a test bed, said, hey, here's Iron Man. And then they threw in the possibility by adding in Agent Coulson at the very end of Iron Man, saying we needed to debrief you, yada, yada, yada. And then they went to the second Iron Man, and then they started adding more characters into the whole mix. Now, some of them have been slightly out of order timeline-wise, but they've done it so that it's not having the entire get-together Justice League, and then going back and redoing Aquaman afterwards to try and introduce Aquaman as a prequel, and then Flash, and then everything else.
Yeah,
that's where the biggest problem I have.
I mean, my only hope on this, just to close the topic, my only hope is that we've been hearing really good things about Wonder Woman, which inherently is a prequel to the Justice League film. It's a prequel to Batman v Superman, and nothing.
It's almost about like Captain America First Soldier, or whatever it is, the very first one. The first Captain America, where it goes back in time, is what it is.
Right, exactly. And, I mean, they're making the connections, and all I can say is, yeah, I mean, I hope the public receives it as well as the critics are saying, which is a shock. I mean, you know, anyway, the whole franchise has been flippy-floppy. They've been making their money in box office, not as successfully as Marvel, but they've been staying afloat with box office sales, even though critics have been nothing but below the surface in their feelings. And Wonder Woman is kind of, right now, it's appearing to be our first shot at something that at least critically people are appreciating, and hopefully the fan base agrees with those critics, because it's always touch and go when it comes to critics and fans.
Spoiler alert for Justice League. A cast member said that Justice League is trying to be like Avengers, but it's failing miserably.
Yeah, well, and that's another topic that I don't want to go too deep in, but I'm trying to conclude this thing, but we'll briefly touch on this because it's kind of important. There's not much they can do to the mainframe of Justice League, at least from what we've heard in quotes in articles in regards to Joss Whedon currently taking on the baton for additional scenes that might get filmed for Justice League, because Zack Snyder had to step back due to a very sad, very unfortunate set of circumstances that was left widely private and not in the public eye, of his 20-year-old daughter having committed suicide back in March. It's very unfortunate for the Snyder family. His wife was a producer on the Justice League, and Zack Snyder was a director for it, the director for it. I appreciate the fact that he is willing to step down from that, from his role in Hollywood, and actually take care of his family. They've got 7 kids, not all his. I mean, he's in a second marriage, and he's been taking care of, so he's got stepkids and his own kids, but he's got his immediate family that currently needs him. They've been struggling with this since it happened. So it's nice to see that he's able to do that. I also appreciate that Warner Brothers is fully supportive of him doing that, regardless of any other intents outside of this circumstance. It's hard to look away at the fact that Joss Whedon was announced as being a director for a Batgirl film, and since he's now in our cowl, so to speak, maybe, hey, here's a good guy that, can pull us out of the water. I don't know how much he's going to pull the Justice League out of the water, in that, because based on what I heard and what I've read in articles, is that he's not going to screw around with much of what's been filmed, because everything has been filmed up to this point. But he is going to add some additional scenes. Maybe that's Warner Brothers' grasp at trying to pull out whatever has been negatively viewed towards its current production. Brandon?
It has also been stated that even though he is taking over now, he has been a part of the film for the last several months, helping out with the current transition and everything.
Oh, okay.
Supposedly, with the amount of time that it took for Zach stepped down from the position was mostly because of contract, not because he didn't want to just instantly leave. But Zach and Josh has been working together to assist him with the transition, so that way they can both share the vision and see where it goes for the future.
Right. So there's a silver lining in this as far as fans of the franchise are concerned. So I guess we just, keep our arms folded, fingers crossed, kind of, as far as the Justice League is concerned up to this point. But we do appear to have high hopes for Wonder Woman, at least, from what we've heard.
Give it a shot. Time will tell.
We will. Time will tell. If you guys are cool, we'll move on to... it's kind of a two-part topic, but let's move on to our last TV talk. So for Star Trek Discovery, give us the lowdown of the series, when it's coming to us, and kind of what direction it's going in.
Star Trek Discovery will be a show on CBS that is going to be covering the explorations of the ship, the USS Discovery, which happens 10 years before the 5-year adventure of Captain James T. Kirk. It will star, I don't know how to pronounce her name, it's Sonequa Martin Green. She was Sasha from The Walking Dead.
Right, and this is kind of speculative or known as to why she left Walking Dead, because she was going to go do this. At least that's what you told me.
She was given a big part. She is the lead. This will be the first Star Trek movie that the lead is not the captain. She's actually the first officer, number 1.
In the trailer for it, don't they flat out say that it's time to give you your own ship?
She talks to her about it, but from seeing that there's the 2 different ships, the original captain was from the Shinzo, telling her that she needs to get her own command, and then we're guessing she goes to the Discovery, who the captain of that is none other than Jason Isaacs. The director, the person who started the whole show, Brian Fuller, he's one that's directed Voyager, Deep Space Nine, some of the biggest of the Star Trek series, actually, for our generation, has said that this is going to cover a topic that has been brought up in a lot of the Star Trek universe, but hasn't been expounded upon, hasn't been actually told what actually happened.
Well, now, and did you already state this detail, but in regards to, and this is a huge thing for Star Trek fans, like the hardcore of Trekkies, in regards to continuity, did you clarify
yes.
Where this series is in relation to the current movies?
This one is in the Prime universe. This follows the original Star Trek.
The original timeline.
Star Trek Next Generation. Everything that's original timeline. Everything in the reboot from with Chris Pine and all that is what they call the Kelvin timeline. So all the changes that happened when Spock went back in time never happened. These are the original. This follows the original timeline.
This series is trying to tie in the Enterprise prequel TV show and the James T. Kirk original Star Trek series from the 60s. This is trying to tie in that 10-year gap between these storylines.
It's a little bit bigger gap, but yeah.
I know there's a 100-year plus gap there, but what I mean is it's taking place in that continuity.
Yes. This is supposed to be released this fall. The big 2-part pilot episodes will be released on CBS, and then from there it will go to CBS's All Access for the 15-episode season.
This is very interesting.
In other words, you have to pay to be able to watch this.
Correct.
Which is horrible.
Mm-hmm. But there's a few things that they're banking on. Each episode of this show has a budget of $6 to $7 million. Because CBS is banking on this to be the draw to get people to use All Access.
So they're hoping it's good enough in visual quality, and I mean you need writing behind it too. But
oh yeah, And when you're talking about writing, they're bringing a lot of heavyweights from the original Star Trek series, a lot of the other shows from Star Trek.
Well, and Brian Fuller being one of the last veterans in this series as far as being a producer / writer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's promising for anyone that fell off after Star Trek Voyager. But yeah, I mean, this is also interesting. And I get it, they're doing kind of a test run, only doing 15 episodes. Star Trek Voyager, ironically, only did 15 episodes in their first season because they were running it side by side with Deep Space Nine. Because traditionally, all Star Trek series run 26 episodes per season, at least from the Next Generation through Deep Space Nine. That was the format they were going for. They held that through with Star Trek Voyager being a full 7 seasons, but again, they only tested the waters with 15 episodes for that first season. So I see where they're kind of like, they obviously don't want to throw too much money into it, but...
And this series of Star Trek will actually depart from the normal formula of Star Trek, where in all their previous series, in every episode, something happens in the beginning, the crew does whatever they can to figure out and how to solve it, and then there's a resolution at the end of each episode. This will be one continuous story throughout the whole season.
I really like that because I mean, I'm not against formulaic cult following type shows because obviously they've had years of fan base to build on. But yeah, if you're going to draw someone in, that's kind of, I would think, and Brandon, you can probably speak on this with your shows that you've watched, like Westworld and Taboo, that an overlying story arc is kind of what draws people in nowadays.
Yeah, this is going to be able to do something that none of the other ones have done. It's going to be able to build suspense. What happens next? What's going to go on here? What happened with this character? So
I think this will be better for the 15 episodes rather than 26 anyways. That way the one story doesn't get drawn out too far. Now, if it was going to be the 26s, it would not work at all. You'd have to break
filler,
it up into 2 or 3 different story arcs.
Filler episodes.
So I can totally see why they're doing 15 episodes with this rather than the 26.
Yeah, and going through the cast of who's going to be in it, they're bringing back a lot of names people know. They're trying to keep the original fans by bringing those names in. Sarek, the father of Spock, is going to be there. They're going to bring back, for the hardcore Trek fans, Rainn Wilson is going to play Harry Mudd. He's kind of the scoundrel womanizer of the series in the original series. Implemented some shenanigans for Kirk and them.
So I guess in conclusion with this topic, Nick, and what you've researched, because you've read a lot into it, where do you think this season might go as far as storyline wise? Or
they haven't really released a plot, but with what Fuller has said and where the timeline falls, there's only really one big event that actually happened in the Star Trek timeline, and that would be I'm gonna stop right here real quick. Spoilers. Anyone watching? This might be spoiler.
If you're a Trekkie fan and you've been following this, yeah.
The only thing I could think of that this could follow is the Treaty of Armins.
Okay, and give us a little bit of for those that don't follow us, because we're not like a Star Trek podcast, so we might not have a huge number of Trekkies out there, but maybe give us a basic idea of what that is.
Well, in this, you hear about little parts of it throughout the series, of all the other series. One of the biggest nods towards it was in The Next Generation, the episode The Ensigns of Command. Captain Picard and the crew are forced to evacuate a colony on Tau Cygus 5. And they say that it's a planet that was given to the Federation decades before, per a treaty that happened. Now, when you actually go back and look at it, there's a lot of lore written for Star Trek fans. And that time frame would have put for the Treaty of Armin, which was because of the rapid expansion of the Federation. There was a race that thought, okay, you're invading our territory. This is our area. And they were a very xenophobic, technologically advanced race that looked at any other creatures as a plague that was going across the galaxy. And with their vast technology, they just started wiping people out. And so then there had to become a big peace treaty accord. And that's what the whole Treaty of Armens was about. So this might focus on that whole event happening. Because you hear about little segues about it in the original Star Trek. You hear about it in Star Trek Next Generation. There's excerpts about it in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. You hear a Romulan talking about it in... what was it?
Nicholas.
It was one of the movies.
This is some deep cut shit right here. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's cool to kind of know this and to also know someone that's got a lot of this knowledge base. That could be very...
The only thing I know more than comic books is Star Trek.
Right on. So
Cooking.
Exactly. So anyway, you see this as being kind of more, especially with a through line story, you see this as being a more action oriented, perhaps, especially with...
There's going to be action, of course. They're going to have to in Star Trek. There has to be that draw to bring in those people that just want to see explosions, space battles, and all that.
Right, that's why J.J. Abrams succeeded in the movies. Brandon,
I think this is the reason why they're wanting to do the story arc.
Right.
I don't think there's going to be as much action, only because it's going to be one big story arc, so they don't have to cut so much big action scenes into every single episode.
They're able to get more meat into it.
I think it's going to be more of a dramatic series rather than an action-packed series.
That's a fair point to make, yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I mean,
like I said, that's just speculation. I could be dead wrong there, but in the timeline, that's the only thing I could think of from my knowledge of what it could be about.
Right, exactly.
Because CBS has been very hush-hush about the plot.
Well, and they're trying to give people a reason to, or at least the Star Trek fans, a reason to buy their service. You know, you give them quality and you leave a lot of mystery behind it. You're going to draw in the original fan base, at least, with that.
Oh, yeah. But a chance to actually see the Sheliak in combat and the whole event happen is going to be something kind of cool if it happens.
Definitely, there should be some interesting things that unfold when we actually see that come out. Something that Brandon and his group talked a little bit about, and we'll conclude with this little side mention. It's another show that I'm kind of interested in checking out. Not kind of. I'm a huge Seth MacFarlane fan as far as his comedy goes. But ironically, running in parallel, literally about the same time, right? Or at least this fall, or when Star Trek Discovery comes out, this show, the Orville, should be coming out about the same time, right? This Star Trek parody, originally cited as a Galaxy Quest potential spin-off that never took flight, especially due to the sad leaving of Alec Rickman. Brandon?
Fun fact, Galaxy Quest was filmed near my house.
Nice.
And then because of everyone backed out of it.
Yeah, probably. That Foutz guy, he's too awesome. We can't control this. We have to come back years from now when he's not around. Well, guess what? I'm back.
Oh, that was very...
The Foutz.
That was very Arkham. I like it.
Why did you say that name?
Yeah, it was originally going to be that, but because they couldn't get the original cast, it ended up being a spoof of Star Trek.
Right. So lead us into this a little bit. We've got starring Seth MacFarlane and Adrianne Palicki, actually. This is going to air Thursday nights on Fox. We can hope for at least 3 or 4 seasons, right, before cancellation?
We can hope. This will be Seth MacFarlane's first appearance in live-action TV series, since he actually did his role as Ensign Rivers in Star Trek Enterprise in season 3 and 4.
Or How to Die in the West, 1,000 Ways to Die in the West, because he did do a live-action role in that. That's a movie. Sorry.
I'm actually talking about
I
TV.
apologize. I did not know you were separating that.
And this will be his first live-action TV show that he's produced. He's producing and starring in it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He plays as Captain Ed Mercer. And you mentioned Adrian Palicki, who is from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was also in John Wick. She plays as his first officer and also his ex-wife. So
nice.
The whole show is going to be kind of a spoof on the whole idea of space exploration with normal people and all the crazy shenanigans that just happens in life.
Well, and something you pointed out to me, and maybe the geeks mentioned this in their episode, that this was... What was the transition for this with it being originally a Galaxy Quest thing? Did you know a little more behind that?
They were talking about that originally, but because everyone passed on it, and everyone was too busy to do anything on it, they didn't actually want to touch it after Rickman passed.
Oh, and something else you mentioned, possible cameos at least. That you read?
There has been talk about possible cameos.
That might be cool. I mean, maybe with Tim Allen's show currently canceled, his current moralistically upright family comedy, which I liked that show. But anyway, so maybe him and a couple others maybe that Sigourney Weaver chick, you know. Who knows, right? So anyway, that looks like a fun show. I'm always down for parodies.
Yeah, they got a lot of cool people.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched the trailer?
Yeah, I did. It looks funny. It's got that dry humor that Seth MacFarlane spits out, you know. Especially with familial relations, his second in command being a ex-wife, of course. There's going to be some shenanigans there. Well, guys, for this week, I think that's going to wrap us up. I think we're just going to go into closing at this point. Where you guys, the listeners and viewers of this podcast, can find us, well, you can find us here on this podcast. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/Nerdentials. You can see some Let's Play series on there. You can listen or watch this podcast. We're on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. In addition to that, guys, we'd love to hear from you. You can tweet at us at Nerdentials. You can also email us, nerdentials@gmail.com. All these links will be down in the description. You can also follow us on our greater media hub, also known as queuedupmedia.com, where our guest from Geekologist Radio can be found. Brandon, where can people hit you up at?
You can find me on Twitter at bfoutz82. You can also find me on the Geekologist Radio podcast, and our Twitter handle for that is Geekologist Radio minus the T, because they like to restrict all of them characters for us.
Yes, they do.
And the newest place you can find us is actually for Geekologist Radio is on Ninja Pancakes, or ninjapancake.com, where you can find all kinds of other ones. So,
right, there's a handful of good podcasts on there, and you guys are the newest on that. Nick, you got any links that people can hit you up at socially?
Thanatos, DB87, Twitter.
Right, links will be down in the description. Lynn, our guest today, if anyone wants to hit you up on PlayStation Network, for instance, want to join you on Destiny, where can they find you?
It'd be Oni111.
Oni111, and that's pretty much everywhere for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. You guys can find me on my personal Twitter at Mr. Blue Streak, MRBLUSTREEK. Same with my Xbox gamer tag. I'm Blue Streak across the board for my personal social medias. I also man the Nerdentials Twitter. So, I guess with that said, guys, as the Nerdentials crew typically does, Nick, you ready for this? As always, nerds, we'll see you.
We'll see you
on the other side.
On the other side.
Boom. There you are, Brandon. Thank you for that.
That's right, because I listen. I'm a listener.
Oh, snap, he's a listener.
Can I have y'all autograph? I just love that digital podcast.
He is the app that does not work with your mic. He is Brandon Foutz. Oh, sorry.
So I'm just gonna.
What are you doing? Listen to me. I shall do this podcast blindfolded, and you will never know. I am really speaking Chinese. Some asshole just dubbed over me. Fuck you, Joe.
Sorry.
That was a good bit. Thank you.
That's gonna make the extra credit.
Yeah, well.